Do you want to learn effective ways to build relationships, generate sales, and grow your business from successful entrepreneurs, startups, and CEOs without listening to a long interview? If so, you've come to the right place. Gresham Harkless values your time and is ready to share with you precisely the information you're in search of. This is the IAM611 podcast.
Hello. This is Gresh from the IAM611 podcast, and I have Melissa Lynn, business coach, on the show. Melissa, it's awesome to have you on the show.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here and chat with your audience.
Yes, absolutely. It should be a very exciting conversation. And before we jump straight in, I wanted to read a little bit more about Melissa so you can hear about all the awesome things that she's doing. And Melissa is a previously successful chemical engineer turned multiple six-figure business coach and business owner. She is a business, sales, and content expert in the online space. And she went from being stuck in her 9-to-5 to making multiple five-figure months and working for herself. Now she helps other women do the same with their online businesses. Melissa, are you ready to speak to the IAM611 community?
I am so ready. I'm so excited.
Awesome. Let's do it. So to jump straight in, I wanted to hear a little bit more about what I call your CEO story and what led you to get started with your business.
Yes. So it's quite the story, as you know, you guys heard in my bio, chemical engineer to business coach. Like, how does that even happen? Right? Like, I don't have my MBA. It's okay. I'm living the real life MBA, but I'll go ahead into my story. So I grew up the traditional route. I'm half Chinese. I kid you not, like my grandparents, they spoke no English, but they did know a few words. One was husband, one was doctor. I kid you not. They knew those two words and it was drilled into my head very young. Like, that's what I need to be successful. I learned very quickly I could not handle blood, which meant I had to do something else. And they settled for engineer. Oh my, they settled for that. They were okay with that. And just growing up, my parents always pushed me in education. I started taking college math classes at age 11. I was tutoring other college students at 12, always above and beyond. When other kids were at soccer camp, I was literally at engineering camp. So it was really drilled into my head that this is what I needed to do. And I was great at math and science. So I was like, okay, cool. This makes life easy. But as I got into the real world after I graduated with my degree, I started to see a trend. I was working long hours. I was in the engineering field working my 9-to-5, which is more of a 5-to-5, for about 5 or 6 years before I moved out of it into my business full time. But I was just working constantly, 12, 15-hour days, long commutes, working weekends, on call literally 24/7, and just a slave to my job with 1 week of vacation a year. So I never left. I never went on vacation. I was a workaholic, literally a workaholic. And I thought to myself, is this really it? Am I really not going to leave North America until I'm, 70 when I eventually retire? Am I even going to be able to walk up or across the bridges and the mountains and go camping and hiking? No. So I had all of these big dreams. I want to be able to travel the world 6 months out of the year. I want to go and live in Thailand for a month. I want to go and live in London for months at a time and really just experience life and start to give back to charities, start my own charity at some point. And unfortunately, I could not do that with my 9-to-5. If I had stayed in my engineering job for another 5 years, gotten my MBA, I probably would have been maxed at an income of $150 a year, maybe 200 best. And that might sound like a lot of money to a lot of people. However, for what I want to do and what I want to accomplish in life, it's not even close to what I'm going to need. And so I knew I had to do something different. I either needed to squish my dream bubble or do something about how the income was coming in. There was no way in the world I was going to do anything different about my dreams. I was not going to crush them. I was going to make them bigger. So at the time, while I was an engineer, all of this was happening. I was really into fitness. So I was doing bikini competitions. I looked amazing. And I was all over social media. And people started to come to me, Melissa, you look amazing. Can you help me? And light bulb went off. Wow, I can help people with this. So I started doing fitness coaching, did that for about 3.5 years on the side while in my 9-to-5, living two completely different lives. People in my 9-to-5 had no idea I was even doing bikini competitions. They literally, I was living 2 different identities. And I built that business on the side to 6 figures and started helping some other friends in the industry with it as well, and soon transitioned to business coaching. So I was helping just fitness coaches. And then in the last 1.5 years, I've expanded to all coaches. So I work with life coaches, love coaches, relationship coaches, other business coaches, social media coaches, virtual assistants, graphic designers, any kind of service or product based in the online space. So that's how I kind of transformed from chemical engineering to fitness coach to business coach. And I've been full-time business coaching for over 2 years now, and it's been absolutely incredible. I love it so much. My empire is just growing. We're probably going to be hiring a few more employees this year. It's just so crazy, but so cool, because I'm now creating the impact that I actually want to create. I'm helping other women leave their jobs. I'm helping other women be able to go and find their freedom and go travel and not stressed about money coming in paycheck to paycheck. And it's just absolutely beautiful what I've been able to do. And it's not stopping anytime soon. So that's my story in a quick nutshell.
Nice. I definitely appreciate that, and appreciate you for telling, every aspect of the story, because I think so many times you hear and see where people are, you don't really see that background of how they got to where they are. And I think that as you kind of said too, when you start to hear somebody's story, you even start to see somebody's success, it kind of empowers you to know that story, to know that even if you're frustrated, you don't like the path that you're going on, you can kind of rewrite your story, so to speak, and be exactly what you always envisioned that you want it to be.
Yes, 100%. It might feel scary, but you can make your own path.
Yes, absolutely. You do have to have some bravery mixed in there for sure to be able to go on a different path and to switch gears, so to speak. So I know you touched on it a little bit. Could you, I guess, tell us a little bit more on how exactly you work with clients and what exactly you do?
Yeah, 100%. So I have some coaching programs, and I also have courses. Passive income is definitely a big thing that I want to be able to create in my business so I can go and travel more. I have many different containers. I work with beginner coaches who have no idea what they want to do in their businesses yet, to business owners that are looking to really scale to 10K, 15, 20, 30, even 50K months in their businesses. And so everything is fully online. I do Zoom coaching calls with my girls. I've got all like video trainings, and I love showing a lot of behind the scenes of my business to all of my clients, because you really need to be able to see how something runs in order to be able to run something yourself and create it yourself. So it's a lot of coaching, and then I'm starting to create a few more courses. I think I've got like a sales course right now, a lead generation course. I think that's, and I have a launching course as well. So I'm just creating more in a big creativity mode right now.
Nice. And you definitely always kind of have to be that, especially as a business owner, and also kind of being aware, as you kind of talked about when you were starting and doing your fitness kind of brand that you had and you were building, and you saw that you were able to help out people. You kind of have to have that same kind of creativity and production mindset when you're growing your business.
Yeah, 100%.
Awesome. And so I wanted to ask you now for what I call your secret sauce, and it could be for you personally or your business, but what do you feel kind of sets you apart and makes you unique?
Yeah, so this might sound silly to some people, but at the end of the day, it's just me, right? Like, I'm what makes my business unique because of my personality, who I am, my background, the expertise that I bring. And I think a big part of it is just my story of leaving my well-paid 9 to 5. Like, I was pretty close to making 6 figures in my engineering job. And from the outside, everything looked so great, but I was so unhappy on the inside. So kind of setting that example for everyone out there as well, that, you don't have to take that same path. But at the end of the day, like, as any business, like, you are what sets your business apart.
Absolutely. And that's why, as you kind of touched on, I think it's so important to kind of be able, and I'm happy, in this time and age that we have so many ways that we can tell our story and talk about like what led us to get started and why we're doing what we're doing, because as we kind of touched on before, it empowers and reminds other people that they can do the exact same thing and not have to do it in some cookie cutter way. They can be true to themselves and their own secret sauce, as you said.
100%. Yeah, it's so possible for anybody. Might not feel like it in the moment, but it's possible for you. We are creating evidence for you right now that you can do it.
Absolutely. And I love how you kind of, peel back the onion as well too, and talked about how sometimes on the outside, I think, well, sometimes on the outside, things can look like they're, perfect. And then sometimes we have things that we're frustrated about internally that we want to try to fix, and we change, and not be guilty about wanting to make those changes is absolutely huge. So I definitely appreciate that, you for telling that about your story as well too, because I think we all have things and people telling us we need to accept that, we need to like that, it's okay, don't complain, so on and so forth. But if you have a mission and a goal, you want to go after it.
Yeah, I'll make a quick note. My
Mhm.
parents, like you can imagine my parents, when I told them when I was leaving my 9 to 5, after they just pushed me and pushed me for engineering, I actually didn't tell them that I left my 9 to 5. It took me 2 months to grow the confidence to tell them that I finally left my job.
No, I definitely know that as well. I too, when I left my 9 to 5 as well, it was not a very joyous conversation. But I think that at the end of the day, you have to make sure that you have to be true to yourself. And I think that's one of the things I always try to say and remind people of as well too. And it definitely sounds like you kind of march to the same beat, where you have to put your oxygen mask on too and make sure that you're happy and fulfilled so that you can do everything you want to do in this world.
Yeah, 100%. And like, I love my parents so much. Love you, mom. Love you, dad. But like, you guys, they aren't living the life I want to live. Like, they both, actually, my mom's left, but my dad hasn't traveled outside of North America. Like, my
Mm.
dad is just in his 9 to 5, living day to day. Love you, dad, but just not living the lifestyle I want. So I'm not going to be taking your advice when it comes to my business and finances and all of these things. You got to find someone who is living that lifestyle and who has the relationships you want and all of those things.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that there's a lot to be said about, I usually say, if you run your own race, you can't lose. And I think that it takes time to figure out what our race is. And I think we have those that love us, like, our parents and our family members and friends and so on and so forth, that love us and want us not to fail and want us to succeed. But we also have to balance that between having those loved people in the corner and running our own race, which is a
Yeah.
tightrope at times.
I love that. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So I wanted to switch gears a little bit, and I wanted to ask you for what I call a CEO hack. So it could be
Mhm.
like an app, a book, or a habit that you have, but what's something that makes you more effective and efficient?
Okay, I'm going to give a few
Okay.
because it's just impossible to give just one.
Okay.
So, my favorite tool I use every day in my business, I think a lot of people are catching on to this, Asana. It is a personal business, it's a management tool my team and I use. I highly recommend it. It's my to-do list. We plan our launches through it. It's absolutely amazing. Everyone can communicate through it. Another tool I love is Thrivecart, which is a payment processor because it just helps create a very seamless experience for the customer journey as they kind of go through the payment processing portion of the business. And then two favorite books. I always send my girls that sign on to work with me these two books right away. The Go-Giver by co-authors Bob Burke and John David Mann, and then The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. Like, those two books were very big as I started my business and eventually left my 9 to 5. Very, very big and dear to my heart.
So I wanted to ask you now for what I call a CEO nugget. So that could be a word of wisdom or piece of advice. It might be something you tell your younger business self, or maybe even a new client as well too.
Yes. Okay. Again, oh, it's so hard for just one. So, oof, don't twist me for this. I'm going to give you two. So, the first one I really want to say is just show up every single day. Like, show up for your clients, show up for your audience, show up for your family, your relationships, your friends. It's so important to just be showing up all of the time. Like, leaders show up every day. Like, we're leaders. If you're in this industry, like, you're wanting to make an impact and really change things. So show up every day. And the second one is just keep going. So many of us look for that instant gratification in our businesses. And if we don't see it, we give up, we walk away. If someone doesn't buy a product today, if someone says no to our coaching program, we feel that our entire business is going up in flames when in reality it isn't. So think back to like the absolute worst moment you felt in your business. I know I've had some pretty bad ones. Did you get through it? Of course you did. Keep going, give it another 6 months. Like, things are working, things are working, things are working.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So now I wanted to ask you my absolute favorite question, which is the definition of what it means to be a CEO. And we're hoping to have different quote unquote CEOs on this show. So Melissa, what does being a CEO mean to you?
Yes, this is such a great question. I love that you're asking this. So, as a CEO, I mean, there's so much responsibility. Like, you're creating the culture of your team, you're giving your clients an experience of a lifetime, you're having to hire, you're having to fire, managing so many things. And so, what I truly believe that a CEO is someone that embodies a few things, like giving without expectation, constantly focusing outward, right? Being such a great leader, helping create other leaders within your company, like inspiring others to live into their greater visions and really inspiring them to be more and do more. Taking radical responsibility for your actions 100%. You're running a company. and really just leading with honesty, integrity, and working from a place of love, not from a place of fear. I think all of those together is going to really help amplify you as a CEO. I truly believe all of those things. I try and embody those every single day. So I would say that is my definition of a CEO.
Awesome. Well, Melissa, I truly appreciate that definition, and I appreciate your time even more. What I wanted to do was pass you the mic, so to speak, just to see if there's anything additional you can let our readers and listeners know, and then, of course, how best they can get a hold of you and find out all the awesome things you're working on.
Yes, of course. Thank you again for having me. It's been so wonderful. My last little additional nugget is, if you haven't started your business, you've been wanting to, start today. Start today. No more waiting. It's going to feel scary. You get to jump anyways. Like, we're here with you. If you're in business and you feel like giving up, keep going. Just keep going. Don't give up. Show up. Like, those are the biggest things that have really helped get me to where I am today. Like, it sounds so basic, but we have to remind ourselves of those things pretty often. And if you want to get a hold of me, I'm all over Instagram. My handle is @TheMelissaLynn, LIN. So you can reach me there. My website's TheMelissaLynn.com. I try and keep it nice and simple for you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Melissa. I truly appreciate that. To keep it even more simpler, if that's a word, we'll put the links and information in the show notes as well too. And of course, I definitely appreciate, that final reminder of being able to start today. And starting doesn't necessarily have to mean building $1 million business. It could just be, researching what you're going to do. So we start where we are, and we try to continue and show up every day, as you said so eloquently. So definitely appreciate that. Appreciate you even more. And I hope you have a phenomenal rest of the day.
Thank you for listening to the I Am CEO podcast, powered by Blue 16 Media. Tune in next time and visit us at IAM611.co. IAM611 is not just a phrase, it's a community. Be sure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Google Play, and everywhere you listen to podcasts. Subscribe and leave us a 5-star rating. Grab CEO gear at www.ceogear.co. This has been the I Am CEO podcast with Gresham Harkless. Thank you for listening.